Hello everybody, welcome to the Stanley Parable, which I bought. Yeah, let's begin.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
What happens if I don't listen? I'm just gonna chill out here.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You didn't think about that all those days and if so years to go check the meeting room? Makes sense. Wait, was that it?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Alright.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Sip, sip, sip. It's actually a picture, it's not even a painting.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
I just want to see how long I can do this for.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Probably cut a lot of this out just to make this quicker. Alright, whatever, I guess. Okay.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Warning, do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Full cost death penalty for misuse of cargo lift. Penalty for jumping off. So if you jump off and then you die, you have to pay $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've
Challenge
gotten off on the
accepted.
wrong foot here. I'm not sure. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Thank you. That was my whole goal. Right. Oh, we have to go through all that all over again?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a
We're not
wave of
getting
disbelief,
fired. Talk less.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
Wait, what?
hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Right, upstairs. Red creepy light.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would
This is
to have
annoying.
finally found an answer, an explanation.
Looks
His
like a happy
co-workers weren't
face.
actually gone.
That
He
looks
wasn't
like a
going to
minion
lose
face.
his job.
Happy
He
face,
wasn't
minion
crazy
face,
after
happy face,
all.
minion face,
And he
happy
thought
face,
to
minion
himself,
face.
I suppose I'll wake up soon.
Double
I'll have to
happy
go back to my
face,
boring
minion
real-life
face.
job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Wait, what?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I knew that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently,
No,
and he
I don't.
invited himself
No.
to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up,
What?
he thought to
What?
himself. I'm
What?
through
No.
with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
Don't.
It's
No.
all I want.
No.
I
You're
want
not.
my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Alright, that was weird, sorry.
My life
If you
is
guys
normal.
even saw that.
I am normal.
My
Everything
monitor
will be
was like
fine.
going to sleep.
I
I was like,
am
no.
okay.
Ha, just kidding, I'm not okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell
What
me
the-
I am real.
what
I
the-
must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Right, this is annoying.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this
What-
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control.
I just got
of
an
my
achievement
mind.
for making space.
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
What?
But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Seriously, again?
All
Alright,
of
this
his
time
co-workers
I'm
had
gonna
gone.
follow all
What
of
could
his
it mean?
directions.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Go through here, go to your left.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. And behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Totally.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Where? Oh. I'm dumb. What's back here? Nothing back here. What's down here?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
This place is creepy.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Alright. If I go back to my office, I'm gonna freak out. I guess that goes.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Wait, what?
Can you see?
No.
Can you see how much they need one another?
No, I don't see.
No, perhaps not.
Yeah. I know.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
What the hell? No,
Push
not
escape
again.
and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
No. So that's Stanley Parable. I don't know what just happened. Yeah. See ya.